What's going on, Internet? Iron Jordan here. So today we're going to be looking at Yu-Gi-Oh! Because although I said we were probably going to start doing daily Flesh and Blood content, yesterday was Saturday, and Gamers Alley, my local game store, had a case tournament. They had a case tournament for the new set, Birth of Destiny. And I decided, I haven't played competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Since 2017. I mostly just play at locals or online on EDO Pro. And so why don't I try my hand at playing in this event? And as it turns out, I went undefeated in Swiss and got third place in the event. So I decided what better time than to show you guys my updated Zoodiac Tri-Brigade deck list that I played yesterday to a 6-0 finish in Swiss, and then won in top 8, and then lost in top 4. And we'll go over some of my matches as well. If I can even remember. I notoriously have a very bad goldfish memory, but I'll try to remember some of my matchups for you. So about a month ago, I did a deck list on this build. Essentially just a couple cards different than the build I was playing then. And it's what I decided to take to the... I think there's literally 2 cards difference. There's no 1-for-1 in this. There's no Monster Reborn in this. And we're playing 41 cards that we could squeeze that Imperial Order in there. That actually ended up being pretty key in my round 1 win. So without further ado, let's just talk about the list. Let's talk about the list a little bit. So we're playing 3 Kit. Obviously, Kit is just insane. Obviously, getting to dump to your graveyard to dump the Nerval, and the Nerval adds either your Fractal or your Karis. The only thing that I do different than most Tri-Brigade players don't do is that I play 3 Karis. I've always played 3 Karis. I stand firm on the hill that if you play 3 Karis, you can play through hand traps way better than any other deck in the game. Well, I'm sorry, any other build of this deck, anyways. But this came up a lot. I got hand trapped a lot. In fact, I only made Appaloosa 1 time yesterday. I only made Appaloosa 1 time because I constantly got hand trapped at like just the right moments, or got Lancet or whatever. But Karis allows you to play through so much that you can still end on a reasonable board of like Rugal, have a back row with Revolt, or like maybe a couple Strites and an Imperm set or whatever. And it really just depends on what your hand looks like. But this card, I would never play it. Like, I had multiple people, after they hand trapped me, go, well, of course you drew the Karis. And I go, I play 3 Karis. There's a reason why I drew the Karis. The other MVP of the day was Tri-Brigade Airborne Assault. This card, every single time that I played it, everybody had to read it. They had to go, what does that card do? What does that card do? Oh, it's just an extender. And yes, it locks you out of going into your Zoo engine, but you don't care if you're going first. And there's a target for every single card in the deck, because even if you open a card with 0 attack, like Ratpier or Nerval, you can summon each other because they're different types with the same amount of attack. So 3 Airborne Assault, this card overperformed. It was great. Definitely play this in some number if you're playing Tri-Brigade. It's just a free extender. We don't have very many of those. The only card that can summon itself from the hand is Karis. That's not normal summoned, So you really need the ability to either get Baron Blossom off, which a smart player will Imperm or Fet Veiler her, which happened to me a lot yesterday. And then you just chain the Airborne Assault, and then you just continue your plays. It's super good. Next, we have 3 Tri-Brigade Revolt. This obviously is just the best card in the deck. It's super insane. I actually found myself, when I was going second, I found myself siding out 1 copy, keeping 2 in because it's still pretty searchable, and that ended up working out really well. It just does wonders. The one thing I'd probably do is I'd probably change up the sideboard a little bit, or actually I think I'm maybe going to change up the main deck a little bit. I really want to run Ram. In the round 1 mirror match, I 2-0'd the guy, but a lot of it was just due to the fact that like I just top decked better when we got in a top decking war. But the one thing that I definitely noticed was that he was playing Ram underneath his Borbo, and it made it so I had to double Imperm his Borbo. And so thankfully I had the double Imperm, but like, yeah, it was crazy. 1 Rat, 3 Thoroughblade. Like I said, I'd probably play a Ram in here, just to have the additional Zoodiac name. That way we have 5 of them. 1 Tinky. I only resolved this once yesterday, and it was after I had I actually only saw it twice. One time I got to resolve it for free because I impermed a guy's Mechaba in the final round of Swiss. He made Mechaba set to pass, and I opened Imperm, and so I impermed the Mechaba at my in my turn. and then I Tinkied, went full combo with Rat. I'm sorry, I think I had Rat in hand. Went Thoroughblade, dumped the Thoroughblade, pitched the Rat to draw a card, and then I actually think I drew a Solemn Strike off of it, which is pretty good. And then just went Zeus, wiped his board. It was really good. Foolish Burial. This card is just good. It gets your combo started. Like if you open it and you open Fractal and they like Ash the Fractal, you can then go Burial to continue your combo to go Kit into Nerval. So 3 Desires. I have such a love-hate with this card because like there were multiple times in the tournament where like I drew 3 Desires. Like I think in round 4, going second in game 1, I drew 3 Desires and I still won the game somehow. I still won the game. And it was insane. Sometimes Desires was a super big hit, and it was like, hey, I have a bunch of cards in my hand. Actually, in my top 8 match against Austin, who's on B Trooper, shout out to, we actually had 8 different decks in top 8, which was awesome. And if I remember correctly, it was B Trooper, Tri-Brigade, Virtual World, Live Twin, Prank Kid, Sword Soul, Lyrilusk, and I can't remember what the last one was. I want to say, it was Dogmatica Shadal Eldritch, yeah. So, yeah. I'm sorry, not Dogmatica Shadal Eldritch. It was Invoked Shadal Dogmatica, the normal build. 1 called by. I drew this once after I got Lanciad, and so it did nothing. Yeah, super good. 3 Ash. Obviously, Ash was big all day. Whenever you saw it, it was always good. 3 Valor, I definitely would take this out. 100% I would take Valor out. Valor did nothing all day long. It did not, even the only match that it would have been good in, because I played against so much control. I played against Eldritch twice. I played against Shadal Invoked Dogmatica twice in my 6 rounds. The other match was, obviously, I played the Tri-Brigade Mirror. And then I can't remember what the last one was. No, I think it was another Eldritch. I think it was pure Eldritch. I played against Eldritch a lot in Swiss. So yeah, this card did nothing. Where Ash and Imperm were both very, very good. I would most likely try to actually just go back down to 40 cards and throw a Ram and like another one of in there. But I'm not exactly sure what it would be. It was crazy. I actually played against an Eldritch player in like I think it was my round 4 opponent actually, that he floodgated me every game. It was one of my few games that went to 3. So my round 6 went to 3 games, and my round 4 went to 3 games. All the other games were 2-0s. And then my top 8 game was a 2-0, and then unfortunately my top 4 game was a 2-0 the other way. But yeah, in all my games, like Effect Veiler did nothing. But the Eldritch player in like round 4, he floodgated me every single game. He skill drained me, and then he goes and matched me, and then he goes and matched me, and I was still able to pull it out somehow. I actually won that game in time, in game 3. So yeah, he'd Solemn Judgment. I think he used all 3 Solemn Judgment that game, and so he was not winning through time. 3 Imperm, like I said, it's just super good. Solemn Strike, MVP of the day. This card was so good. My round 6 opponent, I Solemn Striked him twice in the same turn, which is pretty nice. It was pretty good. And then IO, I only saw this once. I won about half my die rolls, which is statistically how it should go. I won about half my die rolls in Swiss, and I only saw this once. And whenever I was going second, I would side this out. And so, yeah, smaller sample size than the rest of the cards because it was for sure coming out when I was going second. But yeah, no, it was good the one time I drew it. I would still continue to play it. It just wins games for free, so you play it. Onto the Etcher deck. Now, people ask me a lot of questions about my Etcher deck because there are some things in here that you definitely would not, think would be normal. Starting out, we got 2 Baron Blossoms. This was pretty big because the Dogmatica players were really big on doing Maximus on turn 1. And so having the second Baron Blossom to send to draw a card is pretty good. You could also do the same thing with Charade, but like you'd have to have cards in the Banish Zone already. So yeah. 2 Charade, 1 Bear Broom, 1 Rugel, 1 Harpy Conductor. So this is here specifically for our sideboard card, Harpy's Featherstorm. I actually might change this if I ever decide that I want to run Access Code Talker, which I don't run now. But if I ever decide that I want to run Access Code Talker, then I would probably take this out and change the sideboard, or maybe I would leave this in. I don't know. Because, like I said, I very rarely went to a game 3 where I knew I was going first. It only happened... It actually only happened twice because I did it in top 4 where going he went first game 1 and then I chose to go first game 2, and I put it in and I didn't see it, and then against the other game where I chose to go first, I didn't see it either. I lost one more game 2 in round 4 against that Eldritch player, and I opted for him to go first because he sided in. I watched him side in like a bunch of cards, and I was siding, and I was like, okay, well, if I just like keep my same going second cards, I think I just win the game if I draw like one of them. If I draw, which is funny because I drew Harpy's Feather Duster and then he judgmented me, but whatever. So yeah, this was, I mean, like in casual play, it's been so much better. So this is still up in the air, but I really like it. It's a very good gotcha. Because if you know that your opponent's playing Nibiru, you can make this if you have this in hand. You can make the Harpy Conductor if you have the Storm in hand. And then when they try to Nibiru you, you can Harpy's Feather Storm, and then you just continue to go full combo from there, which is really nice. Double Dragon Lords, this card put in work. I actually had a guy scoop on me as soon as I made this one round. That was pretty nice. Appaloosa got made once, and she got triple tactics talent after she negated the first thing. So, yeah. Like, it's not that Appaloosa is a bad card. It's just that, like, people know when to hand trap Tri-Brigade. They know that you can Veiler or you can Imperm one of our effects, or you can Ash the Nerval or Ash the Fractal, Ash the Kid or whatever. And it just, it's really susceptible because it's a known commodity. And so people know when to hand trap it and stuff. And so, yeah, this barely got made. And the one time it did, I got triple tacked. So, sick. Link Karibo was good. Link Karibo is always good. Almirage is good. Almirage is basically always good. These two cards, I don't think I'll ever take out of the deck because they just are, they secure you the ability to continue to play if you get hand trapped at the wrong time, you know? So, like, being able to make Link Karibo off of your Nerval and not just have him sitting there in attack position if you get stopped is pretty good. Zeus is Zeus, man. He won me. This card won me so many games yesterday in Swiss. For every game that I didn't make an Appaloosa, I surely made a Zeus. Come on, man. It was, oh, man, Zeus was so good. I actually, in my round 6 game, it was just, oh, man, I drew the goo. Guy went first. He made Mechaba. He set 2. He passed. I impermed his Mechaba. I plopped the Tinky down. I searched for Thoroughblade. I normal summoned Thoroughblade, pitched the Rat, drew a card. I actually drew into a Strike, which was dope. Then I overlaid onto the the Zoodiac package, and then punched in for 1600 with the Borbo, and then went into Zeus and wiped the board, and it was just GG from there, man. It was insane. As far as sideboard goes, Nibiru, I hardly ever played this. I sided this in against Praint exactly because basically every other deck that I played against, I did, like, okay, I think I also sided it in round 1 against the Tri-Brigade player, but, like, I just played against so much control, which is funny because there was a lot of combo there. Like, every time I would talk to somebody, they'd be like, oh, I played against Tri-Brigade, oh, I played against Praints, oh, I played against, this, that, or the other, right? And, yeah, no, it just never really came up for me. The card that did come up for me all the time was Alpha Master of Beasts. This card is great. This card is amazing. This is the best sideboard card in Tri-Brigade. I don't even think it's close. It's a beast, so it fits your Tri-type. It special summons itself for free, so it gets over things like Winda for free. Yeah, no, it's just super good. And also at the same time, like, the special summon effect is not once per turn. Just the bounce effect is. So yeah, super good. Raigeki, this was hilarious. I got to Raigeki one guy, and it was the round 6 guy. I think in game 3, I got to Raigeki him. So that was nice. Again, he set Mechaba. He played Mechaba, bunch of back row pass, which is an interesting way. I mean, like, it got him to 5-0 before he ran into me. But, like, again, I drew the Imperm, and I drew the Raigeki. So I was like, okay, Imperm, Raigeki, dope. Let's go. Harpy's Feather Duster. I drew this twice. It got Solemn Judgmented both times. Sick. Twin Twisters. I sided this in basically every single game because I was playing it so much back row. And the only time that I really ever saw it was against my round 2 opponent, Josh, who's a good friend of mine. Shout out to him. He was on Dogmatica and Vote Shadal. And the only time that I ever sided, like, I sided this in basically every game. But I only saw it the one time, and it was against him. And it was big there. It ended up popping his Schism and his Field Spell. So, yeah. Red Reboot. I drew this like 4 times, and I used it every time. It got Judgmented twice. I can't, dude. I can't believe just like the mad lad. One of the DBS players at this time had come over and was watching, and I slapped down a red reboot on guy's activation of a trap card, and he was like, "What's that do?" Oh, that's pretty good. And then obviously we talked about Featherstorm already. I still think this card's pretty good, but I'll actually probably take it out. Probably take it and the Harpy's Conductor out. These are like pet slots. It's really funny that I went undefeated in Swiss. It's a 64-man tournament. I don't know if I've noticed that or if I mentioned that. They had more that wanted to sign up, but they had to cap it so they didn't go over 6 rounds. We had like an official Konami judge and everything. And everybody there was a pretty good player, honestly. Every single time, like I said, I haven't played competitive Yu-Gi-Oh in so long, so I'd like hang out with my buddies, after rounds and be like, "Who do you play against?" So I give them their name. They'd be like, "Oh, that guy's a really good player. How'd you beat him?" Like, "Oh, the deck is carrying me." And that's what this deck does, man. Honestly, if you're just looking for a pretty good deck, if you're looking for a pretty solid deck that's going to carry you to victories at your locals, or if you're just going to carry you to a top at like a mid-level event, this deck is perfect for that, man. Because the deck, not to toot my own horn, but it's a pretty good build. I really think people sleep on this card, and that's kind of the main difference because everything else is like a normal Tri-Brigade build. And obviously playing 3 Karas I think is a good call. So, yeah, no, I just, like, the deck will carry you. If you just don't misplay and you're not a bad player, which, I mean, I'm not a bad player. I'm not a good player, but I'm not a bad player either. So if you just, play this deck appropriately and just try not to misplay, it will carry you. So, yeah, I just wanted to give a little tournament report about, like, what happened and show off the deck list because people, that's something I'm not used to, man. I'm not used to people coming up to be like, "Yo, are you, you're undefeated? You're 5-0? You're 6-0? What are you playing? Tri-Brigade? I mean, it's a good deck. What's your list look like? Let me see your list. Let me see your list." I had like a dozen people ask me that yesterday, and I was not prepared for it. So yeah, man. I had a lot of good times last night. Did way better than I expected, but it was the goal. The goal was the top 8, and we did it. In my first like competitive event back since like 2017. So I feel good about it. I feel great. I'm completely mentally fried, and I'm getting ready to go play some Flesh and Blood here in a little bit. So I'm not going to do well, I don't think. I spent all my brain power yesterday on Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh, but prize out, getting 3rd place, I got 5 OTS packs, of which I pulled 2 ultis, which was insane. I pulled the BLS and the Utopia ulti. And then I opened 2 boxes of Burst of Destiny. That was also my prize out for getting top 3. So 2 boxes of Burst of Destiny. And my pulls were hot garbage. The only decent cards that I got out of those 2 boxes were Shishao, the Synchro for Sword Soul, and I did pull a Moye. And I basically sold all that stuff right away. So we went big plus yesterday. So it was a good time. It was a fun time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this list and the very short kind of smattering of a tournament report that, was... that was yesterday's day. My brain's just fried, man, honestly. Oh, in top 8, I beat B-Troopers in top 8 against one of my good friends, Austin. Shout out to him for topping with B-Trooper. He's probably the best player in the Charlotte area when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! He was playing easily the worst deck in top 8, and he still made it. But I 2-0'd him, and then I lost to Prank Kids in top 4, and that guy ended up going on to win the tournament. He beat Virtual World in finals. So, yeah, man, it was a day. It was a good time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to stop rambling, and I'll see you guys in the next one.